Welcome back to my channel at The Film Optimist, everybody. Tonight I just got done watching the newest film, Red 1, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Chris Evans, and J.K. Simmons. In this film, J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus, and The Rock is essentially his bodyguard. In this film, Santa Claus is abducted by forces that I will not spoil here, and it's up to The Rock to figure out who took him and why, and bring him back home to save Christmas, because without a Santa, well, there's no one to deliver gifts. However, they need to enlist the help of the world-famous tracker in Chris Evans' character, who is a guy that works for the black market and is hired to find people that don't want to be found. He is technically on the naughty list. You would know this if you've seen the trailer for this movie. He's not a good person, and The Rock is reluctant to work with him, but he's forced to because it's for the benefit of saving Christmas. So him and Chris Evans go on a globe-trotting adventure going from America to Germany to Aruba, tracking down hints of where St. Nick could be and bringing him home. Along the way, they battle tons of lore-driven mythical creatures that you'd know if you're very invested in the Christmas holidays, and it is a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're wondering what I thought about it, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Now, it's not without its problems. There's a ton of problems in it. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. This is from Jake Kasdan. He is the director here. He directed both the Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and the follow-up to that, the two sequels starring The Rock. If you liked those movies, you're gonna like this film. It feels tonally similar, the action feels similar, and I really enjoy those two Jumanji films that The Rock is in. I thought that they were a lot of fun. I thought that the chemistry between The Rock and Chris Evans was what really sold the movie for me here, with The Rock playing more of like this stone cold, I'm taking Christmas very seriously, and Chris Evans is more of the wisecracking, like he can't believe the shit he's seeing, like he can't believe that Krampus is real and that Santa's real, and he's always making jokes about it, and that back and forth between them is what makes the movie. If you're not into that buddy cop dynamic where one's a good guy, one's a bad guy, you're probably not gonna like it. I got a kick out of it. I also thought the fight scenes were really well done in this film. They were all really exciting, and the world building, I give Jake Kasdan a lot of credit. This was pretty incredible what he was able to build from just his imagination. When this movie opens and you get to see the North Pole for the first time, I got the same feeling that you got seeing Wakanda for the first time, or seeing the Quantum Realm in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It's just really creative, and he created something that looked visually beautiful to look at. It was definitely a really cool North Pole. He sets up a lot of mythology in this film, and you get to see a lot of that unfold. You get to see how Santa in this world does all the delivering of the gifts. You get to see the travel system, how they get back and forth to different countries so fast. Like I said before, you get to see all these iconic characters from the lore of Christmas, and even just other creatures that are like really famous. Like there's a scene in the trailer where you see the Headless Horseman. You get a lot more than just a Headless Horseman in this film, and that's what I'm saying. Like this film is just packed with so much mythology, and it just blended together really well. I was really impressed with everything they were able to add, but not make it feel like it was too much, like they were trying to cram too much in. But at the end of the day, the thing that this movie really has that works for me is just a ton of heart. There's a lot of heart in this film with both Chris Evans' character and The Rock. The Rock's character is on the verge of retiring from being a bodyguard for Santa because he just doesn't believe in the Christmas spirit anymore. He sees how poorly people treat each other in the real world, and he just doesn't think that that Christmas spirit is there anymore. Therefore, what's the point? And Chris Evans' character is just this guy running from his past who thinks there's nothing better for him, and over the course of them trying to save Christmas together in this film, they kind of find their humanity and they find the good in others together. And I don't want to spoil how it happens, obviously, but every time a moment of heart happened, I thought it hit really well. I actually looked around and saw some people sniffling in my theater, which was packed. By the way, I saw a lot of projections saying that this movie wasn't going to do well this weekend, and my theater was packed. Every single seat was filled except for like two. So yeah, like I said before, this movie does have its problems, one of them being logic. Now granted, this is a movie about Santa being abducted and elves and humans working together to battle different mythological lore-based creatures to get him back. So there's not a lot of logic to begin with, but there's still this world's logic, which they break. As far as I'm aware, humans don't know that Santa exists for real, yet every single time Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans go somewhere new and they use that device that you see in the trailer where like they take a toy car, they put it on the floor, and he shoots it with this ray that turns it into a real car for them to drive. There are other humans in the area watching it happen, and they're totally unfazed by it. If I saw that happen, my mind would be blown. And these people are just walking down the street like, oh, a toy Corvette just turned into a real Corvette and two people got in it and drove off. Like, the fact that no one was like, what is happening right now, is kind of just like, do people know this magic exists or do they not? They don't really establish that. Another big gripe I had with this movie is the CGI, which is weird because sometimes it's great and then sometimes it's bad. For instance, when the film starts and you see the North Pole, the CGI is incredible. It looks totally real, it's believable, they did a great job nailing that aesthetic of it. And then you have a scene with Dwayne Johnson where he's running across a rooftop chasing after a vehicle, and it's like PS2 graphics bad. Then you have a bunch of snowmen on the beach that look fantastic. But then you have a scene where Dwayne Johnson has to shrink down to a smaller size to avoid getting punched by these snowmen, and he runs in between their feet at this like really tiny size, and it's really bad PS2 graphics. Then you have this giant monster that they battle at the end that you kind of see in the trailer, and it looks really good when you finally get a close-up of its face. But then you get a scene where a polar bear is fighting a bunch of guys and it's back to PS2 graphics. And I don't get it because this movie had a $250 million budget and that only showed half the time. So I don't know if they blew their whole budget in the first half and then the second half they were like, well, we got to cut back on the CGI a little bit. So let's downplay it a little bit, just a little bit. And yes, this movie is really cheesy at some times, but no more than what you get out of watching the trailer. If you watched the trailer for this and you were like, this is too cheesy for me, you're not gonna like this movie. But if you watched the trailer and you were like, this could be fun, I think you're gonna have fun. If you liked the Jumanji movies, I think you'll like this movie. This is a cheesy action-adventure Christmas movie with a ton of heart. And if that sounds like something you'd like, I think you're gonna enjoy this movie just like I did. I even found myself getting a little teary-eyed during a scene that takes place in snow globes. I won't say any more than that, but if you've seen the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So who do I think this movie's for? People that love cheesy Christmas movies, people that love The Rock movies, people that love movies like The Fast and Furious with physics-defying gravity-type stunts, people that just love to be entertained, can turn their brain off and enjoy a good movie even if there's not a whole lot of logic in it. If you can enjoy the silly, the fantastical, this movie's for you. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have I given you a reason to go see this movie this weekend? If I have, great, let's talk about it. If I haven't, tell me why. And as always, guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next time.